Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I would like to ask all my viewers to help me lift a Thanksgiving curse, and you can do that by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and hitting the dislike button on this video. Let's talk about last Thanksgiving. I had a situation last Thanksgiving where I felt taken advantage of. It wasn't even so much that it was bad, it was that I felt like I didn't have control over my situation. So I was living in a house in Apache Junction. And to be frank, I had some ulterior motives for moving to that house. I had a roommate who was in her 20s. She was working on construction. I had a crush on her. I didn't realize it when I first moved in, but she was actually pregnant. And so that was already a bummer. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I need somewhere to live anyway, right? But I was like, come on. And I was going through a lot in my life. Last year was especially hot. It stayed hot on Halloween. We literally had trick-or-treaters in the middle of summer. And not only that, I was lonely. I had difficulty networking with anybody here in the Phoenix area. And a girl that I had broken up with 8 years earlier had gotten married. I mean, not that I really liked her anymore, but it just reminded me of how much time had passed, right? And so I actually had a dream predicting her marriage a couple months before she got married. I predicted that I had a dream that she was getting married, and I was upset by that. And so as a wedding gift, I gave them a radioactive crystal. And they proudly displayed it in their bedroom, and it was slowly killing them. And then I logged onto social media to watch them go through cancer and all sorts of other problems. And then she got married. And I actually did give them a radioactive crystal, a few quintillion times weaker than the one in my dreams, right? So I often predict things in my dreams for some bizarre reason. But now she's getting married, and not that I want her anymore, it's just that it's a reminder that 8 years had passed. And it's just solemn. The house had flooded. Not my doing. Here in Arizona, we have a lot of plumbing issues because of hard water and all that. Fortunately, Arizona is not known for having lead water pipes because a lot of that lead has been replaced with radioactive material as well, right? But the house had flooded, and the landlord was dragging her feet. Didn't have money to do it in advance of getting the insurance payout and all that, and we didn't have carpet for, I think it was 2-3 weeks at this point. Thanksgiving Day comes along. For the first time in a long time, I had a Thanksgiving party to go to where I was welcome. I was in good spirits. And when I got home, my landlord was like, hey, could you pay your rent early, because of all this? And I was in such good spirits that I paid it without even thinking. I didn't want to ruin this. And I think my landlord knew that. She knew too much about my comings and goings. She knew that I had gone on my first date in a long time at that point, right? In 2.5 years at that point. I shouldn't have let her know all the comings and goings. She knew I had a crush on the other roommate as well. And learned my lesson. Don't let other people know too much. I now treat roommates, and especially landlords who live with me, as almost like a business adversary, right? Kind of like if you were buying a car, or imagine you're working at trying to think where this might come up. You're negotiating with contractors, right? You're building some kind of a space mission, and you need to buy radioactive metal from China, and you're negotiating with them. You don't want them to know too much of your comings and goings, what you're going to do with that stuff, right? Or when you buy radioactive metal from China to make art, you might not want to let them know too much of your comings and goings, what art show you're going to, how much you're selling it for. You probably don't want that to leak out either, right? So I now treat landlords like that. But in the past, I was naive. I wanted to make friends. Long story short, I paid it and she never fixed the floor and she got upset at me even. Now, I was talking to one of my subscribers on here and he blamed me for not having renter's insurance. I'm not sure how that might have helped. I didn't have anything damaged by it. It was all the landlord's property that was damaged. I don't think my renter's insurance would pay to fix that and then go after the landlord. I don't think that would work that way. So I don't think it would have helped in that scenario. I mean, maybe I should have had renter's insurance, but I don't because most of my gear is secondhand. And yeah, I do have my art projects in there. I don't think that the insurance would pay anything for that, right? I was working with metal. At best, I'll just have to remelt that metal again, right? So I didn't think I had very much to lose, right? Whatever the situation is, that's a very typical Thanksgiving for me, though, what I had last year. And so I'm asking for my viewers to help lift that curse by hitting the dislike button on this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.